Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the new treasure map versus Zoro, Jiro, Mugiwara 56 Zoro, and taking a look at the teams that I will be using, as well as the stage breakdown and some other alternatives to you guys to take on the new treasure map that we'll be releasing in less than a day's time. So I do apologize that this particular video has come out fairly late. As you guys have been aware, like, there's been so much going on with, like, Garbs challenges and new legends and stuff like that. And I've been pumping out quite a bit of content, and I haven't really had a chance to get around to my treasure map teams. Another big reason I haven't got around to the treasure map teams is I haven't been summoning, obviously, on Global. This was the first banner that I've actually skipped in a very long time. So I haven't really had that much motivation to make teams. But nevertheless, your boy is coming through, and of course, we will be making teams without any of the treasure map boosters. But let's take a quick look at what the Zoro does. He does have Fear, which is actually pretty good. So normally when you see Fear, I would recommend Limit Break expanding him. Limit Break expanding treasure map characters isn't exactly the most expensive thing in the world, so definitely up your alley to be looking into this character. He's very, very good. 6 turns of threshold removal, boosts sight and free spirit character slot effects by 2.25 for 1 turn. Just a flat 2.25 or boost. Very, very strong for sight. Very, very good for free spirit as well. He is a free spirit slasher too, which is very good classes. He boosts their attack by 1.5 for 1 turn, and if the crew has an attack up status, he's going to boost sight and free spirit character slots by 2.25 for 2 turns. If the crew has an attack up and a slot boost at the same time, he's going to extend the duration of the slot boost by 2 turns. So obviously, if you have the Sanji orb boost, which is sort of what this guy's built for, you can extend that into like 6 turns. But look, 2.25 is really good, and then getting a cheeky little 1.5 times attack if you don't have an attack boost is very, very nice to have. Plus a little bit of utility with threshold too is also not to be scoffed at. I've actually used this guy on like Japan just literally for his threshold, and the rest is just a bonus. His captain ability, 4 times attack boost to free spirits and reduces special bind by 2 turns. Actually, it's a pretty decent captain ability for a free-to-play character. So, it's a Zoro. He's a very, very good unit, so I definitely would farm him up. There's no real reason that he needs Fear, but, like, I mean, he has it, right? He does get 1 turn to cooldown every time a free spirit character uses another special. So I guess, like, you could argue, like, he's good at getting around special rewind, I guess. He makes deck slots matching for the entire crew as well, which is a pretty good sailor. So, very, very good unit. I would highly recommend farming this guy up. He just has base stats, and he's actually pretty good in Rumble as well. So we're not getting into his Rumble too much, but I have seen a couple of my Alliance members been using this guy on a Psy team, and he is actually pretty good. Alright, so taking a look at the trusty characters, obviously the new Sanji is a 2 times booster, and then we have the 3 new rare recruits in Luffy, Chopper, and Nami. So if you guys did some summons and managed to pick these characters up, be very happy because they are very good for this treasure map. We do have 1.4 times boosters. They get 10 turns of cooldown at the start of the quest. You have Shanks, you have Whitebeard, Marco, and the last treasure map, which was Koala. You have a bunch of 1.35 boosters here, which is really, really good. Pretty good array of units, which is always nice to see. The Onigashima Trio, Fighting Pirates, Komurasaki, the new weird characters, Sabo and Ace. These guys all get 7 turns of cooldown as well, which is actually pretty nice. The Bonnie Batch is boosted as well, which is great. And some of the free-to-play characters as well. So, pretty good selection of boosters there as well. Onto the 1.25s now. You've got some of the older units. The Zoro himself is boosted, which is always nice to see. And you have some other boosters there too. And then you got some like 1.2s down here, but I'm not going to get into them too much. But let's quickly slide over to my teams. And obviously, as a bit of a disclaimer, I do like to try and build teams to quickly clear the content. When it comes to treasure map, like, I sort of just get to the point with treasure map that I kind of just get over it. And I like to move on pretty quickly. So, totally forgot actually, I was meant to do this. This Zoro here. So this is the first team that we actually I have put together for you guys. We are using the recommended character that is Luffy. He's really good for this boss stage because it doesn't really do too much. We come up against Chopper, and Chopper is going to basically give us 2 turns of special bind, and literally that's pretty much all that he does. Like there's nothing else that we have to really worry about too much. So for this particular team, we are going to be using Luffy as our captain. Luffy's super typing because we have Zoro on the team. Okay, connection issues can go away now. Apologies about that. We should be back now. Beautiful. So with Luffy, his super typing just does damage, which is great as long as you have a Zoro on the team. So you can do super typing, super typing. His special does 50 times attack too. You just do special, special. And that's basically all the stages covered. And it works really, really nicely. You can also do stuff like Buggy as well. That will work fine. But what you just really have to get around here is the special bind. And for that, we have, I think Bonnie. Doesn't Bonnie remove special bind? Yeah, Bonnie's the one that's going to remove special bind for us. Bonnie's going to get an attack boost. She's going to give an orb boost, a chain lock, which is great. And then you can just use Big Mom to just, like, clear the stage. So this team should work fairly well. I do plan on moving Bonnie off the team later down the line. But I'll sort of look at that if I need the damage output. But this team's going to work absolutely hunky-dory. If you don't have Bonnie, literally just bring anyone that can remove special binds. I think this this Zoro is another wave clearer, so you could definitely use him. But the Komurasaki is just a placeholder as well. You could easily replace Komurasaki with another special bind remover. If we quickly slide over and just go into the boosted list for special bind removal. I love the search feature. It works really, really well. You could easily use something like Jinbei. You could easily use something like Brook. Brook will also trigger the super typing. So you do have that option for you as well. There's the Usopp. He's recommended as well. He's another special bind remover there as well. So that should work absolutely fine. You shouldn't have any issues with this particular fight. I'm actually going to put the other, the Zorojiro, the Mugiwara 56 one on the team when it comes around, as he's just a better version of this Zoro. Moving on to the Nami fight now. Against Nami, she is a quick unit. The recommended characters are Koala and the Kuja Pirates. And then it gives you 6 turns of attack down by 50%, 6 turns of chain coefficient rate times 0.5, and they have defense down immunity. So obviously Koala is the recommended character, because you want to use her special on stage 4, and then you're immune to the attack down. However, Koala is a 1.4 times booster, so I do want to try and use her on a later stage, as she's very, very good in the later stages. This is the particular team I have put together to take down Nami. The idea of this particular team is to utilize 2 kids as captain, and that way I can sort of just speed my way through the mini-boss stages. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have enough cooldowns for the first turn, so I do plan on sort of single tapping, and then my logic is use a kid special on turn 2, use the Apu special on turn 3 to get some healing, use another kid special to wave clear, and then use another kid special after that because I get the healing back, and then I should have a kid special for the final stage as well. But on the final stage, to get around the attack down, I do have Shiryu. He's also going to give color affinity to driven and slasher units, and the Christmas Nami to remove, I think it's something like 7 turns altogether. And then the idea for this particular team, okay, I've lost connection again. The idea of this particular team to actually do a lot of damage output is to actually switch with the Big Mom and Kaido dual unit, switching into Big Mom to get the attack boost with their switch, wherever it is. Hang on, how do I get there? So they give themselves a 2 times attack boost on the switch, and they get a 2.25 orb boost to themselves with their special. They're going to have color affinity as well, and because you get the chain coefficient reduction, you should just be able to like single tap, and this unit should just do so much damage that you should be in good stead. You could also use the kid special for color affinity, for more color affinity over Shiryu, but that's going to do damage as well. So like this team should work fine. I will sort of look at replacing Apu with another healer if I need to. But the idea here is just to spam kid specials and just get through the stage very quickly. And then just use the Big Mom, like the amount of damage that the Big Mom Kaido has at the end. If it starts to struggle, I will sort of look at replacing Apu. And that way I can sort of look at just sort of like going kid special, kid special, kid special. And look, that should be fine anyway. The Apu's a 1.35 times booster. So like I said, you could easily replace him. You could probably use something like Zoro, the Treasure Map Zoro. He's not boosted, but that's another option. You could also use something like Shinobu. Shinobu's another really good option because she's a wave clearer for this particular stage. So there's also that. But the idea here is just you just really want to get around the attack down. And to get around the attack down, if we have a look at our options, you do have some options in Alvaro Pizarro. You do have the Kawamatsu. Kawamatsu's another good option. He's a 3-turn attack down remover. And he's a strength unit, so he does work under Kid. You can use something like the... Okay, for some reason, I am losing like connection badly, so I do apologize about this, guys. Alright, we're back. Apologies about that. You do have this Robin. She can remove 3 turns of attack down as well. Remember, it is 6 turns, so you're probably going to have to bring 2 units, so there's also that. You do have Basil Hawkins and Rockstar, but if you have those units, I would definitely use them on some of the later stages as well. So, attack down's the big thing you want to get around here, and if you can get around it, you are going to be in good stead. Moving on to... Alright, so moving on to Luffy now. Against Luffy, he's an int unit. And if we can load, the recommended character here is Verse Shanks. So Verse Shanks basically covers you here. He removes the block slots, you get blinded on your middle row, and then there is delay immunity, but 5 turns of defense up. So obviously with Shanks, you can just like use his special on turn 4 to get the carryover effect. Or you can use his verse ability, whatever works for you guys. Like it doesn't really matter too much, but what I plan to do with this particular team is I actually plan to use Mihawk. This particular Mihawk is recommended on the next fight. But the Mihawk's actually really, really good for this particular fight. He completely removes the defense up, which is awesome by 5 turns. He does a chain lock as well, which is great. And with Law as our captain, we can actually use the Corazon support, which is awesome. We have another chain locker with Ben Beckman. He's literally just here because he's a color, like he has color affinity. No other real reason that he's actually here. We have Hawkins here. Hawkins can be our orb booster, which is really, really nice. And then we've got Vista for wave clearing. Vista with double special will just basically clear stage 3 and stage 4 for me. I always like to sort of just single tap on the first 2 stages, and then that way I can use the Vista special. But you could also use something like, again, Treasure Map Zoro on this particular team would work fine, and that way you can get more wave clearing there if you are missing something like the Vista. He's a free-to-play character, and most of you guys should have him maxed out. But the big thing that you want to get around here is just the defense up, and obviously like the block slots. With the getting around block slots for this particular team, I am using the super typing of Law, and that's the reason why Basil Hawkins is on the team. You can also bring just a friend Law with Basil Hawkins on the team, or you could easily just use Verse Shanks. I do sort of look at moving Verse Shanks onto this team eventually, but like that's really the big gimmick. You could also use something like the Bonaro Blackbeard. That's another option, but he's a little bit better for the next fight. You really just want to look at a way of getting around block orbs here and removing the defense up. Other than that, you are hunky-dory. With the bind, bind's not exactly hard to get around because you can just use something like a support, provided you have sockets. I'm going to have to fix those sockets, but you guys get the gist of it, basically. So that team should work fine. If you have the Mihawk, I would use him because on this particular team, where Mihawk is recommended against Sanji, you do have a lot of different options. So the recommended characters are the Blackbeard, the Whitebeard, Verse Whitebeard, and the Mihawk himself. You get a full board of unfavorable slots, 4 turns of damage reduction, 4 turns of threshold, and there's 5 turns of resilience. So this particular stage seems pretty tricky on paper, but it's really not that bad. They do recommend Mihawk to get around resilience. They use the Bonaro Blackbeard to get around the damage reduction and the threshold, but there is this particular unit right here. Now, if you guys have been playing the game for a little while, you'll have this Reiju. This Treasure Map Reiju is just a god for this. She removes 5 turns of the damage reduction, she removes 5 turns of the threshold, and she poisons, which means she gets around the resilience. So it works really, really nicely. With this particular team, it's built up around speed. You can use like the super typing of Moria, the super typing of Moria. You have the special of, what's his name? Enel as well. And then basically all you have to do is stall 1 turn, which is usually the first turn. So like I said, I like to sort of just single tap the first turn. And then I plan on using like the Enel special. Then Moria super typing, and then all of a sudden we're at the last stage. Moria is going to give us a full board of orbs with the Mr. 3 support. We have X-Drake here just because he's a high point booster. And then we've got Whitebeard for an attack boost. If you guys don't have the Whitebeard, then you just like replace him with another attack booster. If you don't have Moria, just bring a friend Moria. And this team should work absolutely fine. This Reiju is an absolute god for this particular fight. If you guys don't have this Reiju, you could easily just use something like the Bonaro Blackbeard. So this particular Blackbeard right here. He's going to work absolutely fine. And then what you can do is you can actually change the ship. I need to change my ship anyway. But you can change the ship to the Dreadnought Saber. This particular ship here does end of turn damage. And that way you can actually just like get around the resilience that way. So there's not going to be too many issues with this particular fight. Mainly because I'm using Reiju. And it's going to be quite fast. Because like we just have a whole bunch of wave clearers on this team. And it's just going to work really, really nicely. So that's all the mini boss fights. If we can come back to me please, game. There we go. That's all the mini boss fights. Which is going to be hunky-dory. Let's move on to the actual boss fight now. Alright, so moving on to the boss fight now, we come up against Zoro. Now, against Zoro, here, the recommended characters are the Sanji, the 3 new rare recruits, and Rockstar, funny enough, from the actual Shanks Whitebeard batch. This Rockstar is really good for this treasure map, so if you manage to pull this Rockstar, be quite happy. On stage 4, we get a full board of block slots, 5 turns of burn, and a 2-turn tap timing perfect barrier for 3 turns. This is where Rockstar is really good because he can remove the block slots, he can remove the barrier, and that way you don't have to worry about the burn too much. But if you did pull the chopper's really good at removing the burn. On stage 5, you get 5 turns of bind, 5 turns of despair on your top row, and 3 turns of special bind on your entire crew, like just your crewmates, and then you have immunity. So the team that I put together is actually utilizing Luffy with a friend Sanji. So this team does work with Sanji friend captain. Luffy obviously being a good fighter free spirit captain. Luffy's just a good attack booster. We've got Koala here because she's just like a high point booster being 1.4. We do have Ace Sabo. Now Ace Sabo are great. You can use them as a captain if you want to. But you're going to need them like, you're going to need like 2 Ace Sabos to get around like the special bind and stuff. And as a sailor, they completely remove special bind on themselves. So that way you can remove the special bind. use their special to not only remove the special bind, but you can also remove the bind and the despair. They're also going to be an orb booster too, which is great. And this particular team being Free Spirit and Shooter centric, besides the bottom row, it's going to work quite nicely. Rockstar's great because Rockstar can, like I said, remove the barrier. He's going to rotate the block orbs as well, and he's going to remove the barrier, like the barrier itself. He's a really, really good rare recruit, and he sees a lot of play. He's also a fighter character, which means he works under Luffy. But if you don't have this Rockstar, like, ideally, you just want to bring someone that can rotate block orbs. Like, that's sort of the big thing for this particular stage, and with Verse Shanks, you can actually do that. But, as I mentioned, like, getting around the burn for this team is, like, I'm not even going to bother about it, to be honest, because I'm just not going to hit my perfects. I have so much attack. Like, I have, like, a bunch of attack boosters. With Sanji, I've got another attack booster, because I got the orb boost with Ace Sabo, and I'm just going to be in for a really good time. Because I'm using Sanji as a friend captain, I have the super typing of Luffy as well, so I can actually get the chain boost as well. So this team should not struggle one bit, and actually gives me quite a lot of points, which is awesome. Once it does start to struggle, I am going to swap Verse Shanks out for Bonnie, and that way I can get a chain lock on this team as well. But having the chain boost, like, I feel like I'm just going to be absolutely fine. Shanks can give me a base stat boost as well, so I feel like that's probably going to do more damage than having the Bonnie anyway. When you do kill Zoro, though, he does have a revive mechanic, and he actually revives. Actually, no, he doesn't. That's on the intrusion. Never mind. So that's my team. It should work absolutely fine. You can also use something like supports to get around the bind and despair. If you have Luffy, you can use the Rayleigh support, but just getting around that special bind on your sailors is probably going to be the most tricky part. So that's sort of what you need to be mindful of when you are team building for this particular fight. If we take a look, we can have a look and see what other special bind removers we have. They're sort of going to be the same as the ones that we looked at on the first fight. But nevertheless, you have Nami Sanji would be a really good option here. You have Jinbei, who's a fighter as well. You've also got the Brook there as well. So you do have quite a few options in terms of the special bind removals if you guys don't have something like Ace Sabo as well. So that's my team. It should work quite nicely, especially with the Sanji friend captain. It's going to do pretty well. But moving on to the intrusion now. The intrusion, we actually come up against Germa. Weird. I know, but like, it's not weird because it's like the Germa's like whole situation, right? Once again, we are going to be using a Sanji friend captain as he is recommended, and we have the same recommended boosted list. Psy and Int characters get 10 turns cooldown, so make sure you build your team around Psy and Int based units. On stage 2, we get a full board of block orbs, 5 turns of attack down, and 5 turns of resilience. So again, this is where Rockstar's really good, removing 5 turns of attack down, removing the block orbs, but he doesn't get around the resilience. Once again, you could use something like the Dreadnought Saber, but for my team, I'm actually utilizing the Mihawk. On stage 3, there's 5 turns of paralysis, 4 turns of chain multiplier growth rate to 0.1, and full immunity. And when the Germa die, they come back with 30% of their HP, and they only let you use 1 special. So the team I put together looks a little bit like this. I am using Verse Shanks as my captain, and that way I can bring a friend Sanji, and they're going to boost each other quite nicely. Shanks is going to be my orb booster. He's going to be a base stat booster. He's going to set the defense to 0 on the revive, I think. Or is there full immunity? There's full immunity, so I don't think we'll actually get that conditional boost. I do have X-Drake here to get around the paralysis. He has double special though too, so like just be mindful you do need that double special activation. He's going to give color affinity too, which is awesome. We have Mihawk here to remove the resilience on stage 2, as well as Rockstar to remove the attack down and to remove the block orbs. And then finally, we just have another chain locker in our boy, what's his name? Ben Beckman as well. So this team should not struggle at all. I would highly recommend bringing the Mihawk to get around resilience. Otherwise, you can use the Dreadnought Saber once again. But the big character you kind of want here is the Rockstar. Now, if you don't have this Rockstar, you could probably replace him with another attack down remover. If we, again, slide over to the search function, we can go attack down removal. The big thing is you want to remove attack down, right? So I think this Alvaro Pizarro does 4 turns. Yeah, so he does 4 turns of it, unfortunately. He does heal as well, so you could, like, use his special, and then that way you could stall a little bit, like 1 turn, and then, because he has the healing as well, you could use something like the special of Shiryu, because he does 90% damage reduction as well, so just be mindful of that. That way you can stall that 1 turn as well. Or you could use something like Basil Hawkins. Basil Hawkins removes 5 turns, but unfortunately, with Basil Hawkins, you won't have a way to, like, get around the block orbs. So you just got to be mindful of that. that's going to wrap up the video today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt that like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching. Good luck in the treasure map, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's